What's happening, guys? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to my channel, man. You guys already know what it is. Big up to everyone that's locked in, and I absolutely apologize if you were here 15 minutes ago waiting for the stream to go live. I'm very sorry. I thought I set it to 6:30, but apparently I set it to 6:15. So you can imagine my surprise when I sat down at my setup and I saw people were already there. My bad, guys. My bad. It happens, innit? It happens. Big up to everyone that's locked in. You guys know what it is. Yesterday was a nice little off day for me. Did not do a stream, but we're back with the content, of course. Manchester United women now on a break until I think mid-January, but the men still got games. And you know what? I'm pretty sure everyone expects us to be dropping points these games. Just, it would be so on brand of Manchester United if we were to get a draw at Anfield and then lose to West Ham. That is just the Manchester United thing. Big up to everyone that's locked in. You guys already know what it is. We're going to talk a bit about the January transfer window, what looks like it's mainly going to be outgoings for the window. Todibo to Spurs. Is that a thing? I don't know how much I trust it. And of course, the I wouldn't say new takeover news because it's not really anything. It's not really takeover related, but it's more so who will be coming in with INEOS. I think it's that Ashworth geezer that's kind of at the forefront of the INEOS plans. But we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about Jadon Sancho. We're going to talk about Casemiro. We're going to talk about Champions League Varane. You guys know what it is, so be sure to hit the like button. If you've just come in, you know the rules. You come in, you wipe your feet, you hit the like button. If you want to join the member club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get member only content, which is coming soon. I know I say that all the time, but it's actually coming soon. I just need to sit down and edit stuff. And I will be streaming on Twitch 8 p.m. every single day. You'll be getting some Call of Duty stuff, maybe some FIFA stuff as well. So if you want to play with me, you can via the membership. It's as simple as that. Big up to everyone that's locked in. I hope you've all had a wonderful day, a wonderful Thursday. What's coming up? What's coming up in terms of content-wise? Got content tomorrow, content Thursday, content Friday. We got a lot of content, basically. That is, is probably more content coming this week than the number of signings Manchester United will make in the January transfer window. Big up to Twalumba says, big up Mina, what's good? Big up to Tabislow. I apologize for being late. Dana says, we're not signing anyone. Already coming with the vibe that we ain't gonna be bringing anybody in the transfer window. I wouldn't be surprised if we only signed loan players, says Twalumba. You know what, guys? I genuinely don't see United signing anyone. Like, forget even loans. I don't even see United signing anyone. I don't know if that's just me being pessimistic, but just looking at the last January transfer window, we only brought in loanies. We only brought in Sabitzer because Eriksen got a last-minute injury in the window. Sabitzer was an emergency loan. Although United have a lot of injuries this season, Ten Hag is kind of showing that he is able to work with it. So I don't think the board are going to let him bring people in the January transfer window. However, we have been linked to some people. It seems like United are sniffing around the Bundesliga for a striker. What does that say about Rasmus Højlund? I saw the most disgraceful stat today. Absolutely disgraceful. It said that Antony and Garnacho have passed to Weghorst a combined 10 times in 7 hours and a half of football. So that's what? If my maths is right, say 90 minutes per game. I was going to say if my maths is right, but that's basically near enough to what? 5 games? That's near enough to 5 games, I think. That's 10 passes, a combined 10 passes. Did I say Weghorst? My bad. Højlund. I was meant to say Højlund. My bad. Sorry. I'm not comparing Højlund to Weghorst, by the way. I mean, neither scored in the Prem, so they're not really too far off from each other. But, sorry. Garnacho and Antony have not passed to Højlund in 7.5 hours except for 10 times. 10 times they've passed to their striker. 10 times, guys. How is that acceptable? How is that okay? That's one thing that I don't understand. Because I was about to talk about obviously Rasmus Højlund and the fact that Manchester United are going into the window potentially looking at maybe buying a striker from the Bundesliga. What does that say about I was about to say Weghorst again. What does that say about Højlund? What does that say about Rasmus Højlund? That Manchester United are linked to Guirassy, who I think's got like a 17 million release clause in the January window. They're linked to Timo Werner, another striker, and there was one other striker that they were linked to in the Bundesliga. But for me, it's like Rasmus Højlund hasn't hit the ground running the way that we would have hoped in the Premier League in particular. But really and truly, when you see stats like that, I get it. Although some might argue that that clear-cut chance against Liverpool should have been a goal. That should have been into the back of the net. And the more that I see it, we were actually kind of robbed of having a good build-up goal. That was a good build-up goal. Literally, it was that entire right-hand side was involved. Even Højlund himself was involved in it as well. Outside of the shot, he was involved in the link-up. So for me, it's like, yes, Højlund ain't getting the service. Højlund ain't getting the service like that, being passed to 10 times by 2 players combined over a 7-hour course. That is outrageous. That is so outrageous. But big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to Anthony. Says, with Man United match results, I've concluded that expect the unexpected. That's literally the vibe I'm on. Expect the unexpected. Big up Koala. Says, big up Mina. What team's jersey is that? This is the All-Star, I think it's 2013 All-Star jersey in the NBA. It's Kobe Bryant, of course. I have a lot of Kobe Bryant jerseys. RIP to the GOAT. Rasmus can't do it all alone. He's still developmental. Thank God that sure handball wasn't given with that ref. The interesting thing is that when people forget, when you're talking about the likes of Garnacho, you're talking the likes of Amad Diallo, you're talking about the likes of Kobe Mainoo. Rasmus Højlund is in the same age category. If I'm not wrong, he's around the same age as all of them. How old is he? He's 20 years old. I think people actually forget that he's 20 years old. When I say people, I'm talking about myself. But I do forget sometimes he's 20 years old. I saw a picture basically from a training session last week, and it was him, Kobe Mainoo, Garnacho, all of them in the same team. And someone like quote tweeted it, and they said they are all the same age range. And that actually threw me off a little bit, because I was like, oh my God, they're actually right. Rasmus Højlund. In my head, I'm thinking, because I'm seeing him wrestling with players on the pitch, I'm thinking this guy's in his 20s. I forget he's literally 20 years old. My guy was born 2003. 2003. Damn. He's the same age as some of my nephews. When do we play next? We play on Saturday, early kickoff, lunchtime kickoff against West Ham. You know what? I'm going to do a preview stream to that on Friday. For the next, until the new year, you guys can expect content in the daytime, guys. That's all I have to say. Daytime, we're going to do some content, and we're going to do content in the evening as well. So it might be one of them ones where it's like 2-3 streams a day, especially during the holiday period. I know a lot of you guys are probably off school, off work, etc. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. Big up to Giri. Says, big up, honest thoughts on Luke Shaw. Have you ever rated him? I have rated him. I have rated Luke Shaw, but it's just with Luke Shaw, I have this thing where I don't want to be, I went through such a difficult time saying on his day, Paul Pogba is the best player. And I don't want to do that with Luke Shaw, but he is a phenomenal player on his day when he's fit. But it's too many ifs. And I feel like he has this thing, Luke Shaw has this thing where he plays his best type of football defensively in transition going forward when he's playing for his spot. Alex Telles came in, he stepped it up. Malacia came in, he stepped it up. Now he's having injury problems, but he knows that he's still going to get into the spot, especially now that he's shown that he can play left side centre back as well. He's kind of he's shown that as well. So I have the opinion I have on Luke Shaw is I don't share the same sentiment as a lot of other people do, where they think that he's dusted. I still think he's good, but also bear in mind this guy nearly had a career-ending injury. He had a career-ending injury. The only issue that I have is that his assists to games in the Premier League ain't it. It's not it. We talk about wanting to create chances with our fullbacks. We get onto Wan-Bissaka for not creating chances like that. Who's had more assists in them? Obviously, Luke Shaw has probably had more assists, but it's not by much. Since he's joined Manchester United, he's been here for how many years? Nearly 9 years? I think he's been here nearly 9 years, if I'm not wrong. He's been at United for nearly 9 years. He's got about just under 20 assists in the league. It's quite underwhelming, I would say. It's quite underwhelming. One thing I will say though, like I said, is I don't share the same sentiment as a lot of other people, but I do think questions, we should have conversations. We should have conversations about it. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo in the chat, says Garassi will make a little difference. We need to feed our strikers. I think Garassi will not. One thing I can say about Garassi, he will probably not get flung around the way that Højlund right now is getting flung around. Højlund be getting flung around by bare people. Is tomorrow episode 1? No, I think it's episode 3. I need to update the title. It's episode 3. I'm fighting for my life right now. I'm like 8th in career mode. But we play on legendary, so I'll take that. Even though I won the league on legendary. Big up to Grace, says nobody deserves to stay at United that long. Big up to Sidaf, says Luke Shaw, 10 years, only 2 good seasons. I thought that year he got his leg injury, I thought he was on course to have like the best season ever. Tualumba shares a similar thought to me, says I do rate Mount personally. I don't think we've seen enough of Mason Mount, honestly. For any, like, I feel like anyone that kind of has an opinion on Mason Mount, of course it's warranted. It's because of his time at Chelsea. Really and truly, we don't have a big enough sample size to go off of his time at Manchester United. And you know what? That even makes me question the manager a bit more, because there's been times this season where Mason Mount has been fit and he's been on the bench. Times he hasn't even been a bench option. He hasn't come on as a sub. So for me, it's like, why go out, spend 60 million on a player that still had only 1 year left of his contract? If United waited 1 year, bear in mind, if he had just stayed at Chelsea, he probably would have left this summer coming. He probably would have left on a free. Instead, United paid 60 million, gave him 250 a week, just for him to not really be an essential plan of the manager's midfield. Why? Because the manager had opted to put him on the bench. And that's one thing I don't get. Like, I want to give Mason Mount some grace. I want to give him an opportunity to have a good run of games and kind of give himself a proper opportunity in the team. But I feel like he's not going to get it. And I genuinely think that the manager brought him just because we needed a midfielder. And also, bear in mind, Ten Hag has been fond of Mason Mount. Like, this is not the first time that he was linked to signing him. When he was at Ajax and Mason Mount was at Vitesse, he was interested in him. I think they even played against each other, and he spoke about him in a press conference, saying that he was such a good player. So I rate Mason Mount. I think he could come really good, but I also question why we brought him a year too early. That's just my thoughts, because if he could have stayed at Chelsea and just basically got that move a year later. Liverpool pump faked us. When you fake a shot and you're not actually going to shoot. Liverpool pump faked us to believe that they were going for him. I don't think he would have left Chelsea, and United could have just got him on a free, man. 60 million. Look how many players we've missed out on in the summer because United decided to put the money elsewhere. It could have made a whole heap of difference. Big up to Koala, says, I think Højlund needs to stop wrestling and improve his final third movement. He's strong enough to run with the ball. He could be a right-sided inside forward. I hate these new terms. What the hell is right-sided inside forward? What the hell is that? Like, come on, guys. What happened to the good old take me back football heritage? Right winger, left winger, striker. Centre mid. I'm hearing people saying he's 6'6", 8". What the hell is that? That sounds like a time. If someone says to me he's 6'6", 8". That means you're saying to me anything between 6:30 and 8:30. Because what the hell is 6'6", 8"? I honestly, these new formations, these new positions, I can't imagine what it's going to be like 10, 20 years from now. 10, 20 years from now, I'm literally going to be hearing inside forward 8-10. That's going to be a position. And someone's going to expect me to understand what the hell that means. Like, please, guys, come on. What's it? Koala, what is it? I know what a right side inside forward is, but that, if I was to say that to someone that doesn't use social media, that proper like older people that just watch football on TV, that's it, they don't listen to analyses and that kind of stuff. If I said to them, Højlund is a right-sided inside forward, they would look at me like, what the hell is this girl talking about? Honestly, someone said to me one day that they said Kobe Mano is 6'6", 8", and I said, is that a time? Is that the time right now? Is he in between those two time slots? Because what the hell is a 6'6", 8"? But I get what you're saying, Koala. I get what you're saying. And to be honest, I'm actually guilty of it. I'm pretty sure I've said before that Amad Diallo is a right-sided inside 10. Just like Scott is a false eight. Yeah, he's a false. He's a false everything. Scott McTominay is a false everything. Big up to Z. Z says, "Good afternoon, Mina. How you doing? I'm good. I hope you are doing well as well. Everyone, let me know, man. How's your day been? What have you guys been up to today? Have you guys done anything entertaining? Because I haven't. I'm watching this show on Netflix. I don't know if anybody watches. I love reality TV shows. It's called Dubai Bling. Please, if anybody in the chat watches Dubai Bling, let me know because then we can talk about it. But if you don't watch Dubai Bling, I highly recommend it. Only 2 games in Jan. I really wanted to see more of Bayinda. Yeah, it's funny. United's only got everyone's pretty much like that. What is it? We got the FA Cup. We got the FA Cup, and then we got another game, Tottenham. We got Tottenham FA Cup. So I think we don't play after, I think it's like the second week of Jan. We don't play again. Bayinda should have gotten a chance a long time ago. I think Bayinda should have actually had a chance a long time ago. It's funny that we've waited until AFCON. Basically, I learned what an inverted fullback is last week. Yeah, these new positions that everybody's like talking about is just that take me back football heritage, man. Football heritage. I wonder myself, big up to Atom K says, I wonder myself, we spent almost 200 million on wingers and we expect Aaron Wan-Bissaka to put in crosses. Sometimes I think like, oh, what about the good old days when defenders used to defend and the attackers used to attack? But now you have to do everything together. I think who was saying it that I can't remember. Someone was saying that football is basically becoming like to be a good footballer, you just need to play good in a system, basically. Someone was saying it. I can't remember. It was an ex-footballer who was saying it. I actually can't remember who it was. Blame Baldy Pep. Pep ruined football. You lot saying Pep ruined football. Big up to Jerry says, would you get rid of Martial, Sancho, and Rashford? This is a good one. Let me know your thoughts, guys, in the chat regarding this. Martial, 100%. I think Martial should have been sold. I would have said when he went out on loan, when he came back from his loan spell at Sevilla, I think he should have been sold then. Sancho, yes, inevitably things are not going to change with him and the manager. I saw a report that was saying that the only way he basically comes in, which we kind of knew, the only way he comes back into the squad is if he apologizes. He ain't apologizing. Jadon Sancho is not going to apologize. Trust me, I'm a stubborn person. I know stubbornness when I see it. And Jadon Sancho will not be apologizing. Marcus Rashford, however, I can feel a sneeze coming on, guys, but I thought I was going to mute my mic because I don't want to sneeze into the mic, but now it's disappeared. Marcus Rashford, it's an interesting one. Because I don't think they'll be able to offload his wages in terms of the ability, like whether they'd have the ability to do so. I mean, offloading Jadon Sancho is going to be a difficult one. He's on 300k, unless he's going to Saudi. I don't see any team taking his wages, and if they do, United's going to have to pay some of it. United will have to pay some of it, even if they sell him, because I don't see realistically any club in Europe that would have ever given him that amount of money, let alone now buying him with that wage. So that's that. I do think he's more likely to go to a European team rather than Saudi, just because I don't think he's finished. But then again, do you guys feel like Jadon Sancho has kind of ruined his rep in terms of clubs are going to look at this situation he's had with Erik ten Hag and think, yeah, we don't want to go anywhere near that, because it's just a matter of time before he goes to another club and falls out with another manager. Do you think clubs are going to think like that, or do you think that clubs will kind of look past this and be able to look past it because of his ability? And maybe they might even know stuff that we don't know. Like, I genuinely don't think we will ever know what's happened with the two of them until maybe one of them decides to write a book. Like, I just don't see it happening. I don't, like, maybe Sancho might write a book, or Ten Hag might write a book, and that's how we find out what actually happened. Maybe like Sancho told him to go suck your mum or something like that. Maybe Sancho said something outrageous, or maybe Sancho tried to slap his bald head. I don't know, because someone just mentions it here. Gary mentions it here, saying with Sancho, I refuse to believe it's just a training issue. There is no way you banish a player completely just because he didn't train well. Something more than that happened. that will hopefully come out. I don't think it's just the training thing. I think it's also the fact that he went out to social media, and I think he's like the fact that he insinuated that he's being scapegoated. Obviously, he didn't really say who he's being scapegoated by. He didn't say it was by the media or by his manager, but I think it's that plus it's the training thing plus the fact that he went and basically, he clapped back at the manager online, and that was a talking point for about 2-3 days. Everyone was talking about it. The media was talking about it. Social media was talking about it. Every YouTube channel was talking about it. It kept United as hot topic. And maybe the manager didn't want that. And I think it took like about a week before he deleted it. His post, which the manager also, I guess, was against. So I do think outside of the training thing, I think there's more that happened behind the scenes. Given the fact, like let's read word for word what his statement said. Let's read word for word. He said, let's treat this like this is an English class, guys, and we're gonna analyze it. Where is his statement word for word? He said, "Please don't believe everything you read. I will not allow people saying things that are completely untrue. I have conducted myself in training very well this week. I believe there are other reasons for this matter that I won't go into. I have been a scapegoat for a long time, which isn't fair." Then he went on to say, "All I want to do is play football with a smile on my face and contribute to my team. I respect all decisions that are made by the coaching staff. I play with fantastic players and I'm grateful to do so, which I know every week is a challenge. I will continue to fight for this badge no matter what." The interesting thing that sticks out to me is the fact that he said, all I want to do is play football with a smile on my face. Is he like alluding to the fact that he's not been happy at Manchester United? I don't know. But also the other part is the fact that he says, "I believe there are other reasons for that matter that I won't go into. And I have been scapegoated." So obviously he feels like he's being done dirty by the manager. And he also feels like what Giri said here, that there's other issues outside of this training thing. Which I guess we will never know. Big up to Mohammed, says, how do you think Sir Alex Ferguson would have reacted with the Sancho situation if he was a manager? I think he would have shipped him. I think he would have sold him. I don't know. Do you think he would have been dropped like this, like banished completely? I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. It's kind of difficult to also say what Sir Alex Ferguson would have done in this situation, because the era of Sir Alex Ferguson's football was way different. Like social media was becoming a thing when Sir Alex Ferguson was retiring, in terms of like Twitter and that kind of stuff. That was becoming a thing. When Sir Alex Ferguson was winning the double, only Twitter was around, but I don't think it was that big. So they had to deal with back then the pressures of the press, the written media, the journalists, the what's it called, paparazzi and that kind of stuff. That's what he had to deal with. So if you're saying in this day and age, if Sir Alex Ferguson would have dealt with it, I'm not too sure. I think he would have done what Ten Hag done, but I don't know if he would have done it to that extent. I think he would have just basically banished him and then shipped him. Bear in mind, or maybe even terminate his contract. Basically just get rid. Exactly what Ten Hag is trying to do. Ten Hag is doing it in just a more harsher way. Because you don't know how I feel about the whole banishing thing. I think it's a bit over the top. I do feel like it's a bit over the top. But essentially, I feel like Jadon Sancho in this window, he's gone. January transfer window, we might not have a lot of incomings, but I can guarantee that if Jadon Sancho is still a United player come February 1st, I will be really, really shocked. Honestly, guys, I'll be very, very shocked. Not that I don't expect it, just because I feel like by the time it gets to January, the last time we saw him play was what, September? Is that the last time we've seen him play? Since the last time we've actually seen him involved in a game? How many played? He's only played 3 Premier League games this season. We've barely seen him involved this entire season. I can't even remember exactly how many appearances he has altogether in terms of all competitions. Let's see how much appearances he has this season. He's got 3, literally just 3. He hasn't played in Champs. He hasn't played in Carabao. He hasn't played in anything. Why? Because it was after the Nottingham Forest game. Damn, that's been a long time. It was Arsenal after the last game he played. was Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest was the last game he played. That was the third game of this season. He has not kicked a ball since the 26th of August. That is a lot. So by the time it gets to January, it'll be near enough nearly 4 months since he's played football for Manchester United. And if they somehow still keep him, to me, that would just be next levels of delusion. Not just for the club, but even for him. I think it's better for both. I feel like it's better for both parties for them to kind of part ways inevitably. Like anyone that thinks it's good for both parties for them to remain in this situation, this limbo, it's not. I think Jadon Sancho is a phenomenal player, and you know what? I think he'll be good wherever he goes. It would be very interesting also to know how would Jose Mourinho have dealt with this. That's what I want to know. Because still today, Jose Mourinho is still indirecting people. I don't know if you guys saw him appear on John Obi Mikel and that's podcast. I think it was their podcast. He spoke about a lot of stuff. He spoke about his time at Spurs. He talked about his time at Chelsea, all of that stuff. He also talked about his time at Manchester United, and he basically alluded to the fact that there's still people here. He said players and senior people in the firm that basically, as long as they're there, the club will never succeed. I don't know if he's talking about the Glazers. I don't know if there's particular players he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about like particular people that, because Ed Woodward is gone, so I don't know who he's talking about in terms of the management side, or I don't know if he's just talking about everyone involved in the club in general. I don't know, but the fact that till today Jose Mourinho is still indirecting people at the club, even on his like podcast appearances, is pretty funny. It's actually kind of funny. DVB loan, I wanted him to go permanently for his own good. I don't see how Donny van der Beek comes into this squad. Like, again, I don't understand what's with United and just sending players out on loan in January. Remember they did this with Martial. They sent him out on loan to Sevilla. I don't understand why they send players out on loan and then they just come back, rot away for a bit, and then their contract expires. Donny van der Beek has to be probably the worst transfer I can think of over the last 6 years. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I could say that Maguire was a horrible transfer. I could say Sancho was a horrible transfer. There's a lot of players, but at least they played. At least they actually played. At least you got some sort of return on interest in terms of what you paid for them, what you were paying them, and, the number of games that they played. But Donny van der Beek has to be the worst return on investment. It's not my investment, so I don't care. But it has to be the worst return on investment I've ever seen. And even when he was fit, guys, and United was literally running thin on midfielders and players, he still didn't play. He still didn't play. Until today, I don't understand his signing. He was the last one in that team from that Ajax Champions League team in terms of getting a move. So I don't understand why United went for him, but he's another player that should be sold, not be loaned. And this is what happens. He went on loan to Everton, guys, and he barely played there. He barely played at Everton. So what made us think it was a good idea to bring him back and let him just rot away again? At that point, you just sell him. And that's why I never understood. We could sit here and talk about all the transfer windows that we just never understood, because there's so many signings. And I never understood why we bought Bastian Schweinsteiger. That guy still loves United, even though he was here for the end of his career. I don't know why we ever bought Schneiderlin. That was a very weird transfer window. But Donny van der Beek is definitely up there with the most confusing kind of transfers. Big up to Zoe's Media House, says, "Hey Mina, hey Zoe, I hope you are doing well. I wonder what he gossips about with Rashford." That's interesting. Do you think that the manager told Rashford not to hang around with him? Because Rashford must be telling him what's happening at the club. Like, Rashford must be telling him what's happening at the club. That's in reference to Jadon Sancho. Sancho is an assist machine. So Alex Ferguson would have kept him and sold the Brunos and the Rashfords, because if he said play the ball to Højlund, they wouldn't be able to. I hate when, like, this point here saying Sancho is an assist machine. That's just based off his time at Dortmund. Like, chat to me about his time at United. Chat to me about his time at Manchester United. Maybe he wanted to leave in the summer, but he had to stay because the club could not sell him. And now that Ten Hag did not play him, had to come up with a reason. But Sancho denied, since it's not true. That could be that's a very valid, I think, conspiracy. Because Inevitably, I thought Sancho was leaving this summer. I thought he was going to Spurs at one point. I thought he might be going back to Borussia Dortmund at one point. But I definitely did think that Jadon Sancho was getting sold. I thought he was getting sold. But the fact that he didn't get sold, and it just shows the club's inability to do anything. The club couldn't negotiate this year when it came to buying people, and also they couldn't sell anyone when it comes to negotiating. So I don't know. So Alex Ferguson wouldn't have fallen out with Sancho. He's literally Nani incarnated. Bro, are you all right? What do you mean he's literally Nani incarnated? Nah. I don't know what he's on. I don't know what Koala's on, but Koala's on something. I could be an assist machine at Dortmund. I mean, passing the ball to Haaland in the German league, it can't be that difficult. I'm joking. No, any sort of professional sport is difficult. Let me not undermine it. He's been quite well at United also. Regarding Sancho, the stats don't lie. You know me, I'm all about the eye test, but let's go look at the stats. Let's go look at the stats. Let's look at the stats. Obviously, if I look at this year's stats, not good at all. Let's look at his first year. Let's look at his first year. His first year at Manchester United, 38 appearances in all competitions, 5 goals and 3 assists. Damn, that's not good. That's not good. Let's go back and look at him before United. Before he came to United, 38 appearances for Dortmund. This is in one season, the 2020-2021 season. 31 appearances in all competitions, 16 goals and 20 assists. Yeah, a lot of them. Not even a lot of them, actually. Half of the goals came in. Yeah, okay. Most of that came in the league and the German Cup. He only had 2 goals and 3 assists in the Champions League. That's it. Literally, that was it. Let's see this. I want to see the Champions League group, who he scored against. Again, Zenit, St. Petersburg, Club Bruges. That's it. And then Sevilla, he got an assist against. So if we're saying assists don't lie, stats don't lie, in his time at just United, last season, 41 appearances. That don't sound right. That is right. He had 41 appearances last season. Why did it feel like he was just... Oh, wow. So if you go on Transfer Market, guys, I only use Transfer Market to look at stats, but when I go on Transfer Market and I look at last season, and I look at his stats, the big gap of when he was out, and it's not even a big gap, it's about 9 or so games, is listed as depression in terms of illness, this injury. It's got the injury mark and then it says depression. That's why it's listed on as in Transfer Market. But last season, again, 41 appearances, 7 goals and 3 assists. Obviously, I think I remember him scoring at Liverpool at home. Yeah, he scored at Liverpool at home. Those appearances are not correct. Look at the minutes played. I know I should look at the minutes played. You're right, because you're right. Let me look at minutes played. There's 2,500, nearly 2,500 minutes played. Because you're right, a lot of the games is like 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here. Him getting subbed on in the 90th minute. So him getting subbed off on like the 78th. So it's right. His appearances are not the best source of accuracy. But if we just look at his entire career thus far, he's got 263 appearances. Yeah. Again, I shouldn't go off of appearances, but he's got 263 appearances. That's 18,000 minutes of football. Yeah. 18. And this is just at club level. I think this is just showing club level. And he's got 86 goals, 81 assists, meaning he's got more goals than assists. You lot telling me he's an assist machine. He's got more goals than assists if we go off of stats. Like I said, guys, I ain't a stats person. I'm big on the eye test. I'm big on the eye test. Always have been, always will be. Let's talk about INEOS. Sir Jim Ratcliffe gonna come and change everything. Whoever believes that, let me know. If you genuinely believe he's gonna come in and change everything, please, guys, do let me know. But we're gonna quickly go through some news, I would say, not news really, but it's comments from John Murtough regarding the January transfer window. He said, looking at the January transfer window, we don't expect to be particularly busy. There will always be opportunities, particularly in finding opportunities for players who aren't playing as much as they would like. Sounds like their priority is getting players off the books. Their priority is selling players. He went on to say, however, we have always been consistent in saying that we don't consider January to be the best time to do business, and that our recruitment strategy remains focused on the summer transfer window. Rob Dawson from, where's he from? ESPN reported that Manchester United are not expecting to make any major signings in January, particularly because of financial fair play. That's what he's saying. And I saw yesterday that John Murtough apparently was in Saudi, or had been in Saudi of recent. So that's a very interesting one. Manchester United, we're going to talk about Todibo because obviously he is on the thumbnail. He's on the thumbnail. And if he actually goes to, if these rumors of him going to Spurs is true, I want to know what everyone was hyping up INEOS coming in for. Because I remember someone said to me that INEOS coming in would make signing Todibo so much more easier. Okay, what happens when he goes to Spurs? What happens when he goes to Spurs? Because he is linked to them. They're interested in him. I mean, I don't blame them for that. But what happens when he goes to Spurs and Man United don't have that INEOS pool? Even though Sir Jim Ratcliffe is expected to come in, it's looking like Dan Ashworth is leading the race to come in for Manchester United now. He only joined Newcastle last year, so it's interesting that he wouldn't mind to leave within a year and a half of being at Newcastle. I think he joined them in 2022 around summertime. Obviously, he was at Brighton before that. Well respected in British football, in UK football, in English football. Very well respected. Has a keen kind of approach to involvement in terms of the strategy and the plans for recruitment. It seems like he could be the guy for the job. But you guys know where I stand. Anything that involves the Glazers still being there, I can't feel optimistic about it, because the Glazers essentially still have overall majority share of the club, meaning they still get majority say in what happens, regardless of the fact that the media is telling us right now that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS are in charge of the entire football project and the sporting project of the club. Who are they going to have to run things past? They're going to have to run it past the Glazers. They're going to have to run it past Avram, Joel. How can I trust a man with that small of a... How can you have that small of a ponytail on your head? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. I can't trust that. I told you, like, I don't trust bald people, but I also don't trust people that are forcing a ponytail the way that he is. So I think anything that still has the Glazers involved, guys, I don't know how you lot feel. Let me know how you lot feel, because it's not really something I feel like I can be optimistic about. For me, you lot always know where I stood. And I've said this time, like before I even started my channel and we used to talk about it on United View, I always said, I don't care if it's a Jim and I don't care if it's Qatar that come in, as long as it's 100% sell. As long as it's 100% sell, I don't care about anything. Well, I do care, but also like 100% or nothing. And one of my worries is, and some of you actually might not care, but I watch women's football. I watch the women's game. I watch Manchester United women. I cover Manchester United women, and I just feel like they've been kind of swept under the rug with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and everything that comes out about INEOS and what they're planning to do. It's about the men's team, and I know a lot of you guys care about that, but I care about both. I care about the women's team and I care about the men's team, and I just feel like it's the women's team and the plans for the women's team have just kind of gone under the radar. Nobody's really talking about it, which is kind of disappointing. And we're not really hearing much about what potentially could be the plans from INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Do they plan to, follow the similar route that Manchester City went down with in terms of developing and, increasing their sports involvement with the women's team? Are they planning to go down that route, or will we end up down the Glazers path where the Glazers ended up getting rid of the women's team? Like, they literally ended up, when the Glazers brought Manchester United, they literally demolished the women's team. Do you know Manchester United? I'm not joking, guys. They could have probably been one of the most successful women clubs by now. Instead, it was my entire childhood and teenagehood growing up. All I watched was Chelsea and Arsenal women, because Manchester United women didn't exist, because the Glazers came in 2005 and demolished it. They got rid of the women's team. What happened? A lot of the players who were in the academies or could have been in the academies, especially in the late 2000s, early 2010s, they ended up going to other academies, ended up joining other clubs, and then they all came home in 2018 when Manchester United women were founded. If that never happened and Manchester United had a women's development center, they had a women's team from 2005, only God knows how successful they would have been. Only God knows. Mina, what did those eyes tests say regarding Qatar and Eid? Listen, even a broken clock is right twice a day. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. You know what's funny is that outside of, Sir Jim Ratcliffe owning Nice, that's the only thing that makes me optimistic that we could get Todibo. That's it. Nothing else in the way that Manchester United operate makes me optimistic that we could get Todibo. I think last in the summer, guys, when we were linked to a heap of defenders. Gay, we were linked to Tapsoba, we were linked to Todibo, we were linked earlier than that. We were linked to Kim Min Jae. We've been linked to a lot of centre backs, yeah. But I always felt more optimistic now, of recent times, that we could sign Todibo because of Nice, because United are getting Sir Jim Ratcliffe in. But if he goes to Spurs, please tell me what's the benefit of having Sir Jim Ratcliffe if we can't even sign a player from his team. I would get any decent centre back out there. It doesn't have to be Todibo. Look at Leacher, who knew about him before we went to get him. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like centre back options. I think there are centre back options out there in terms of, what the manager's trying to replicate. What is the manager even trying to replicate? He's trying to replicate a backline that can play out from the back. I would go for Simikan only because just because Simikan can play right back. So if United were to play with a back three, he could play on the right of the back three. I don't see it realistically happening. I don't see United playing with a back three, but it's just like if necessary, if necessary. But also, I don't see the point of signing Simikan to kind of be a replacement at right back, because we've got Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. I don't know if Dalot's staying. We'll find out throughout the season. As the season progresses, we'll find out if Wan-Bissaka gets his contract extension in the end. Could that be another player that ends up leaving? I really don't. I have one thing I can say is, except for like the guarantees that I know that are leaving, Sancho, Martial. Then there's the maybes for me, like Cass, Varane. Do you guys want Varane to stay? And how disgraceful are Manchester United that they said that he actually signed a contract to 2024 plus 1 year rather than up to 2025 plus 1 year. So if they don't trigger his 12-month extension within the next couple months, he can leave on a free in the summer. So is it a possibility that United... I saw a report suggesting that Varane wants to stay, which I don't blame him. I mean, he's only, 29, 30? We can still get a few more years out of him. He's shown us the last couple games why he deserves to actually start for us. But if Varane is possibly leaving in the January window, I would be very, very shocked. I would be very shocked to see him leave in the January window, just because I feel like United are just like one injury away from every position. I feel like United are one injury away in every single position, especially in that back line. Leacher is not back yet. He's back training, but he's not going to... I don't think he'll be back in a matchday squad anytime soon. Harry Maguire, don't know how long he's out for. Lindelof, don't know where he's been. I think he's out injured as well. And Johnny Evans as well, picking up injuries here and there. So I feel like getting rid of Varane in January is risky business. I feel like it's risky business. And also, he's proven to us in 2 consecutive games. I mean, not that I needed to be proven to, and not that I needed to be convinced, but he's proven to us why he's a very important player in our backline. Like, he's proven that to us. So if United trigger his 12-month extension and then sell him in the summer, I could see that being realistic. But letting him go in January instead and selling him, I mean, like, we're hearing about Casemiro potentially leaving. That's the main names I'm hearing when it comes to Manchester United outgoings. The only other incomings I'm potentially hearing about, Todibo, Guirassy, and Timo Werner. What a list of potential incomings. I don't see any of those happening, if I'm being honest. United don't set buy in January. They're broke. Are they going to get a player on loan? I don't know. Like I said earlier in the stream, I feel like they only bought players on loan in last season because we needed it. I mean, who were we playing up front? Martial was out. I can't even remember, for like most of the season. We basically had no one up front. We were playing Rashford up top, if I remember correctly. So I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about them. Like, I'm hearing that Arsenal might go for Ivan Toney in January. I'm hearing that they might go for Ivan Toney in January. I don't know if it's to buy or to I was gonna say rent, but if it's to buy or to loan. But if they actually get him on loan in January, that means I think that they have to trigger David Raya's right to buy, because they can't loan. I think there's a clause that they can't loan two players from one club at the same time. Again, if they get Ivan Toney, that's different. That is different. If we have Evans, we can still keep Varane 100%. 100% we can. I don't see the need for us to kind of pick it between one or the other. I would love Ivan Toney, but that fee would be mad. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I remember someone on my stream saying that they would have taken. This is back when we were buying Rasmus Højlund, and basically someone on stream, and I laughed at them. Someone on my stream said to me on stream that I would rather we keep the money that we're paying Rasmus Højlund, that we're buying Rasmus Højlund with, and we keep Martial for the first half of the season, and we go and buy Ivan Toney with that in the summer, in the January window, which I don't know I don't know what game he's exactly back for. Ivan Toney ban. When is he's banned for 8 months, so he's banned until 16th of January. So I don't think we'll actually see him play until way after that. I don't think we'll see him play until probably February. I don't think we'll see him play until probably February time, because there's only 2 games for most teams in the January in the month of January. It's 1 Premier League game, 1 FA Cup game, and I think if they are still in the Carabao Cup, then the Carabao Cup is still happening. It was me. It was not Koala. Koala don't know ball like that. Koala don't know ball like that. But big up to everyone, man. Big up to everyone that has been locked in. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button. Got a lot of content coming throughout the week. Let me just check the schedule. So we got EAFC stream coming tomorrow. I might record a Man United women's video and put that out later out today, because the fan base is not happy with the way the women's team is going right now. The fan base are not happy with the way that the women's team is going. We've got content on Thursday, Friday. Like I said, I'll be streaming live on Twitch every single day starting today. Let me put the link in the chat. Come through. Be sure to follow, guys, because it's the road to 100 followers there. I still got about 30 something to go. I think I got about 30 something to go. And you guys can see my very, very cool. You can see my very, very cool gaming skills. I'm very good at gaming, guys. That's one thing I have to say. Is it Ultimate Team or Warzone on tonight's Twitch stream? It's Warzone tonight. It is Warzone tonight. Ultimate Team will probably be Friday and Saturday, maybe, but throughout the next couple of days, it's just going to be Warzone streams, because I need to improve. I need to be better, guys. I really, really need to be better. And you know what? One thing I realized is that I don't have to sit here and talk about football all the time to talk to the community. Like, we don't have to talk about football all the time. And that's one thing I realized. I feel like on a football basis, you lot know my opinions. You lot know a lot about me based on my opinions. But outside of football, we can get to know each other. So be sure to come over and follow my Twitch link in the chat right now. Or if you want to go later and check it out, just type in MinaFootball. It will come up. You should try the Arkham series. Those are amazing. Not gonna lie. You know what is? I'm always open to suggestions of new games to try, etc. So I will add that to my list of stuff to do. You're good at Warzone. What do you mean? I feel like if you watch me, and Koala watches me on stream, so if you watch me on stream, you know I have moments where I play absolutely crap. Then I have moments where I just play amazing, and then I play. It's like a roller coaster. I'm like United, guys. I'm inconsistent. I play good one game, I get like 15 kills. The next game, I get no kills or 1 kill. Then the next game comes back, I get like 10 kills. Then the next game, I get no kills. So my goal is to be consistent. And my goal is also to just build a community on Twitch as well, outside of Manchester United and football. And who says those two can't coexist? They absolutely can coexist. I will be actually doing an EA stream as well soon with Saeed. We're going to do a best of 3 on stream. So that's going to be an entertaining one. So you lot definitely don't want to miss that. And obviously we'll be back tomorrow with an EAFC stream. But if you lot want to come over, chit chat, vibe, and we could talk about basically everything not football related. of course, within reason, in it. Within reason. You lot can ask me questions about my life, but within reason, in it. And you can just watch me play games. Come over to my Twitch. The link is right here in the chat. You guys know what it is, man. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Very impromptu stream today because I thought there was a bit to talk about, and I'll try to do better with getting the timings right, because I kind of got the timing wrong today for my own stream. I'm an absolute disgrace, but you lot know that's a one-off. You know that's a one-off. Big up to everybody. You lot know what it is. You can join the membership club. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get emojis, you get custom content, and it supports the growth of the channel as a content creator. Do the peace sign. I'm not leaving yet. You know, the peace sign comes when I'm... Oh, that's why you wanted me to do the peace sign. Oh, Koala caught me there. Koala caught me there. That's why Koala said to me, do the peace sign. You guys know what it is, man. Be sure to hit the like button. If you're going to come over to Twitch, I will see you there in about an hour's time. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow, nice and bright and whatever, you know, all of that stuff. You guys know what it is. Big up. Until next time, guys. It's your girl, Mina. Peace.